Welcome to F-Bomb Friday. I am your host, Tracy Preston, along with my husband, Todd. Hey, hon.
Hey, baby.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's hit it. Today, we journey to the windswept hills of Marquette, Michigan, to tell the story of one of the Upper Peninsula's most infamous haunted locations, a place once meant to provide shelter that instead became a crucible of tragedy, rumor, suffering, and lingering spirits that some say still cry in the night. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, strap in. This is a story where history collides with legend and where the voices of the past used to stay silent. On today's episode of F-Bomb Friday, we're talking about the ghosts of the Holy Cross Orphanage. The year was 1914, and the Catholic Diocese of Marquette embarked on a grand project to build an orphanage for the children of the Upper Peninsula, at a time when industrial mining towns dotted the region and poverty was widespread. The promise of shelter and guidance seemed noble. By 1915, the building, constructed of red clay brick with a grand sandstone entry, opened its doors as the Holy Cross Family Orphanage. Officially, its mission was care, providing housing, education, spiritual guidance, and a place for children without parents or guardians. At its peak, it housed up to 200 orphans at once. But beneath its orderly facade, a darker story began to take shape. Unlike some orphanages designed as homes, Holy Family was very strict. Discipline was rigorous. Schedules were regimented to nearly military precision, and the nuns oversaw every waking moment of the children's lives. While official records paint a calm picture, the rumors and stories passed down through generations tell of a harsher reality that neighbors and later explorers spoke of physical and mental abuse at the hands of the nuns. According to local accounts, punishments were severe, and normalization of fear was part of daily life inside those walls. One of the most enduring and chilling tales involves a little girl and a snowstorm. Now, according to legend, one day a small child defied orders and ventured outside during a fierce northern Michigan snowstorm. She wandered too far, succumbed to the cold, and soon after came down with pneumonia, from which she tragically died. But the horror didn't end with her passing. Rather than a private funeral, the tale goes that the nuns placed her body on display in the lobby, forcing all the other children to see the consequences of disobedience. Whether in fact or folklore, this image of a silent corpse in the orphanage foyer became one of the defining ghost legends tied to the place. Now, another darker bone of local lore involves a young boy whose fate remains shrouded in mystery. Some say he drowned, others that he was beaten to death, and that the nuns hid his body in the basement to conceal what really happened. Paranormal stories later would turn this chilling setting into a hotspot for unexplained activity. Once the orphanage ceased official operations in 1967, whispers about supernatural occurrences began to spread. Locals walking past the building that night would claim in hushed tones that they could hear children sobbing softly, murmurs of distant laughter, the echoes of a baby carriage rolling across an empty floor. Some say these sounds emanate from the very lobby where the story of the girl's death unfolded. Ghost hunters and curious minds alike flock to the structure. Now, reports included lights flickering inside after dark, strange orbs, notably a green luminescence in the basement near where the boy's body was said to be stored, apparitions seen in windows, including figures of children and sometimes adults who vanish upon closer glance. One haunting tale even recounts a group of friends entering the derelict building late at night. On the top floor, innocent jokes turned to terror as they heard laughter, not theirs, growing louder and closer from all directions. One of them claimed to see a little girl dressed in white, staring at them before fleeing back down the stairs in panic. Now we need to pause here and put some things into perspective. The building that stands today, listed on the National Register of Historic Places, was officially the Holy Family Orphanage, not strictly Holy Cross, as many legends claim. It did serve children of many backgrounds, including Native American children transferred from another Catholic home in Assistance, a small town along the shores of the Kinawa Bay, as part of assimilation policies, making its history already complicated long before ghost stories took hold. And while stories of abuse and tragedy are widely shared online and through local lore, many former residents expressed mixed memories, some strict but not cruel, and others refusing to talk about their experiences at all. So, which is real? The documented history or the whispered tales that have grown around it? Like all great ghost stories, truth may be somewhere in between. By the late 1980s, Holy Family stood abandoned, windows broken, hallways silent. A structure steeped in decades of silence and legend. 4 years it sat as a derelict ghost landmark, rumored to be patrolled by and explored by teenagers and paranormal investigators alike. Then, in 2016, developers bought the property. A major renovation would transform the old orphanage into the Grand View Apartments, 56 units of modern housing with views over Lake Superior. The building wasn't destroyed, only adapted, and today it stands not as an abandoned relic, but as a place where people live. But do the spirits of the past still linger? Paranormal enthusiasts still report strange lights after dark, unexplained sounds within the walls, figures glimpsed in the windows when no one is home. What do we make of the ghosts of the Holy Cross Orphanage? Some see it as a monument to the hardships of institutional life in the early 20th century, a place where children faced strict discipline and challenging conditions. Others see something far more supernatural, restless spirits bound to a place filled with sorrow and unresolved history. Maybe the truth is both, because in the quiet moments when the winds howl across the hills of Marquette, when the lights in the windows flicker and the air feels just a little too cold, some swear the past isn't finished speaking. And there's one thing we've learned with this tale. Some stories refuse to stay buried, even when the world tries to move on. So if you found yourself looking over your shoulder, you're not alone. Stay safe, keep your lights on, stay curious, and stay spooky. 1914, Catholics, nuns.
Right? This is not the first time we've heard these scary stories about nuns.
I never went to parochial school. I know a lot of people that did, though, especially back in the day, and those nuns were brutal. So can I imagine maybe some of that happened? Yes.
Yeah, and what is it about the nuns? You rarely hear anything bad about the priests. Well, I shouldn't say that, but there's always horror stories about nuns being so brutal and so mean.
They seem mad as hell.
Well, maybe things weren't so strict for them, they wouldn't be so strict.
But I wonder why so strict, especially with children. So is it hard to imagine that they would put a child out on display for disobedience? I'm on the fence.
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Yeah, and it's very, very disturbing, but it sends a very strong message. If this story is true, you can't get a much bolder message than that. Horrifying, though. And I know that some of the locals, some of the people that probably had involvement with the school, or at least they had relatives that they did, a lot of them said that they never had any issues. Yeah, sure, it was strict, but I certainly wouldn't ever discredit anybody that said that they had been abused, especially children. Children don't have any reason to say that they're being abused for no reason.
Oh, and they were orphans.
Right.
So there is no family oversight. And even if there was, back then, children should be seen and not heard.
Right.
So anything's possible. And then to think that this place was turned into basically an apartment building.
Yeah. I'd be a little wary about being a resident of that place, especially if I knew the legends and the background. I think I would be always on alert, always looking, always listening, and being somewhat of an empath. I'm not sure I could be a resident there anyways. I think it would just take too much energy from me.
So by the time it ceased in 1967, I would imagine young adults moving in, maybe they didn't know, but to hear children crying or laughing, I don't know if anything is more frightening. To be honest, that would put me on edge.
Yeah. Well, we spoke about this before, and I personally think there's nothing scarier, I think, in my personal opinion, than scary children.
Ghosty children.
Ghosty children, zombie children.
Zombie children especially.
I would probably do the running and play Scooby-Doo run like you do.
That's right.
But I mean, adult monsters,
Still
ghosts,
frightening.
Still frightening, but there's just nothing creepier than scary children, ghost monsters. Yeah.
Scary children, ghosty zombies. No. Agreed. Well, this is, again, this takes place up in Lake Superior area.
Yeah. Up north Michigan is definitely a hot spot. The ancient stuff, the mining and the logging, a lot of things happened up during that period of time. I would suspect that superstitions ran amok, for sure.
Well, it's isolated.
Yeah.
It's cold, forest. You have the power and the energy of the deepest lake out of the Great Lakes.
Right.
You never know.
Yeah.
A great story, hon. Sad.
Sad, very sad, yep.
But, gets the mind wandering.
Right. And kudos to them for being able to save the building and reuse it again. But nope, no, I would not want to be a resident there, for sure. A visit? Yeah, definitely. But nope, I don't think I could lay my head down and just restfully sleep.
Agreed.
Especially after walking through the foyer.
Right. The frightening foyer.
Yeah.
Well, great story, hon.
Thank you, baby.
So, do you want to sign us out?
I sure do. You better lock your doors. You better lock your windows. And you might want to check under your bed.
And if I see those nuns under there, I'm going to smack the shit out of them with a ruler.
Yeah.
Give them a taste of their own medicine.
Rap on the knuckles.
Yeah, even though the story may not have happened, I'm mad as hell.
Yeah.
They could have.
And we should be mad.
Yeah. I think they've smacked enough of our friends around back in the day. So it's all right.
Yeah.
Nobody take offense. They're getting whacked.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. And we will see you again on Malice Monday.
We'll see you on Monday.